Way down deep, there is sacred ground. Way down beneath your feet, there is magic to be found. Way down deep, there is sacred ground. Deep down inside your skin, there is wisdom to be found.
I remember a childhood dream of being chased down an alley, and so for a lot of time in my life, I've had this feeling of like having to go somewhere. It's not like running away, but it's like running to something.
And my dream was actually of a financial statement, and the financial statement was printed on a page that was actually the images of leaves.
The other night, there was a baby alligator who chomped on my finger.
Although sometimes the image will become so strong that it stops me in my tracks.
And when I was a child, I used to have reoccurring dreams of planes flying into buildings.
So it's amazing to me that with 7 billion people on the planet, there's a third of them in the process of dreaming in any given minute.
So I've been having these reoccurring lava dreams, but I actually have been having them since I was a child.
I think recently I was the constable of Moscow.
And I grew up in the Midwest, so there wasn't a threat of lava.
And then the dream where my mother came back, and she took me back to a foster home I was in and helped me verbally beat up the person that was really mean to me growing up. Okay. And it was as vivid as me talking to you right now.
And a month after I moved off the island, the lava flow actually started going towards the town where I lived. And right now, at this moment, it is actually flowing into town, which has triggered more lava dreams. And the night that the lava crossed one of the main roads, I had no idea that it was that close, but I did have a dream, and actually that the lava was flowing over a human body. That was like a sacrifice kind of a dream.
Through a bad time in my life, I had a kind of regular dream of being buried alive and waking up in a casket. That was the worst experience.
Recently in a dream I was given a cello and asked to play it.
More recently, I guess maybe showing that there is some equilibrium or positive resonance in my life, I've had the image of a tuning fork.
Well, Jung, like the rest of us, had dreams of his own, and he spoke at 10 years old of having a dream that was very threatening to him and very embarrassing to him, and he never told anybody about that dream until he was in his 40s. And that was a dream where he felt that God was defecating on the great cathedral at Basel, which he passed every day en route to school.
For Jung, dreams were messages from the unconscious. They were ways for us in our everyday lives to be in touch with the unconscious. They were gifts.
And that the excrement that was striking the cathedral was golden, he said. And he said, I realized in many of the rejected values and those no longer considered useful, there was gold to be found.
The unconscious is the part of us that is often banished from awareness because it's too painful. It's a part of us that's unknown but knowable. And it's a part of us that we need to continually work to be in touch with so that we can become whole, we can become stronger, and we become wiser as a result of our working relationship with the unconscious.
And then I'll spend sometimes months chewing, years even chewing on what that particular dream meant at that particular time.
Yeah, I think it's a very blurred thing, but we have to study it more, I guess, because I think it's the most creative thing we have in our brains.
Dreams are fascinating because they are limitless and full of possibility. You can speak a foreign language, you can fly, you can resolve all your problems.
There are no rules, there are no structures, there are no physics. So it's completely different than this consensus reality we live in here, where there are physics, there's gravity, for example, and then there's an experience of time that we have in this waking reality. There isn't even physicality. And even in my dreams, I seldom have a body, but I still have a consciousness and a perspective.
Dreams are different from stories in that stories have a timing and a linear sequence. In dreaming, it's very hard to sort that out because things are almost happening all at once. So to capture the different images and events that are happening can be a very tricky business.
None of us know where dreams come from. All we know is there's a tremendous amount of autonomous and spontaneous activity that occurs pretty regularly every night. Sleep research tells us that we dream up to 6 times per night. That's a tremendous amount of activity.
Deep kinds of things that are generally not part of my consciousness bubble up in the middle of the night, and they're surprises.
I'm attracted to Jungian psychology because it's a psychology of wholeness. And dreams are an essential part of understanding ourselves and making ourselves more whole.
I definitely learn things from my dreams. It's like just little things that have been bubbling around the edges of my thoughts that I just really can't quite put together. It's like sometimes when I wake up in the morning, it's suddenly like, oh, there it is. It's like there's a truth to it.
Dreams are good companions because they are ever available. Every night there's a fresh supply. Not always do I remember them, but there's a sense that there is a great deal going on underneath the surface that is pertinent to my life, that is helpful to my life, that is mysterious, that is sometimes entertaining, sometimes perplexing, and always meaningful if I can live with them long enough to actually allow the meaning to come forth.
Anything that's happening in my waking, everyday life, I find is influenced by and enlarged by the dreams that I have.
I think that Jung really opened us up to the mystery of dreams.
We go somewhere else when we dream, spiritually, subconsciously. We just have to leave our body, leave the world for 8 to 10 hours a night.
We dream because our brain doesn't give us a choice. It just kind of overrides and does it.
And they have a sense of humor. I love that. I say the dream maker has a sense of humor. Some of my dreams have been so funny that I just wake up laughing.
Jung was a Copernican revolution. He said that dreams are not just the leftover things from the day. Dreams open us up to all kinds of meanings, all kinds of potentials.
Nature doesn't seem to be wasting time or energy. It has a purpose. And one of the purposes may be simply to metabolize the experiences we're having on a daily basis. Where the input of energy is so much larger than we can absorb at the time, our own psyche seems to continue to work on them, to absorb them, and to assimilate them.
We dream to repair our brains. I think there is some sort of fundamental healing that goes on during the dreaming process.
When people in sleep research have been deprived of dreaming, not of sleeping, but of dreaming, they are in a few days more likely to hallucinate, which suggests that there is material there, quantities of energy that need to be processed.
We spend a third of our lives horizontally parked on a soft surface with our eyes closed and all our senses turned off just so we can attend to this dream state.
But also has to do with the restoration, reparation, and metabolizing of life's trauma, because life is itself inherently traumatic. And underneath that trauma, there is that resilient organism that's trying to manage it and absorb it and move on and to grow.
And they're trying to compensate for our natural one-sidedness in this culture. If you think about it, We're way too involved with using our rational thinking process, problem solving, and don't give ourselves time and space to get away from the techie part of life, to find the creative process that often comes through dreams and related to the unconscious through expressive arts.
But Jung also pointed out another reason altogether, and that is the way in which the psyche offers a commentary on how our life is being conducted.
The unconscious informs our waking life and how we live our lives. It's also true that how we live our lives, our daily endeavors and our work and our families and our thoughts and experiences inform the unconscious. And so the two work together. We need them both. Jung recognized that.
I think people need to be trained to pay attention to their dreams, because most of us will just ignore them or downplay the message in the dream. It was, oh, a silly dream, you know, or something like that.
So the dialogue with dreams is really dialogue with one's own soul, because dreams are one of the many ways in which the psyche communicates to us.
And most people don't want to hear those messages.
If I were an alien and I looked at humans, I would wonder why they worked so hard to keep the irrational away from their awareness. Because it's kind of okay that the irrational doesn't make sense. It's not supposed to. It offers you something creative. So if I were an alien, I would say, wow, guys, relax. That's pretty colorful and interesting.
I try to draw it. I think everybody can learn to draw meaning from their dreams.
The fact that we don't educate people about the value of their psyche and the depth of understandings and meanings and connectedness to the world, to nature, all of that, I think is really a terrible admission in education.
I think there are small housekeeping dreams which tend to the business of your day or of your week. And those are almost sorting out the emotions of things that have happened to you in your relationships and your work. But occasionally we'll have a dream that has a real sense of otherness to it. Jung would say it has an archetypal depth. And these are the dreams of a lifetime. And I've probably had 4 or 5 dreams like that literally changed my life. They have what is called a numinous quality, almost a spiritual, holy otherness to them. And they seem to have wisdom not only about things that have happened to you, but also things about where you're going and your destiny. And this is what Jung would call big dreams. And those are truly a gift.
If I've got all this stuff going on inside of me and I don't acknowledge it and I don't listen to it, then I am ignoring a huge part of what we call life.
So unconscious is always there. Unconscious is the big pool of spirit, of ourselves. And we are in a process of revealing that to ourselves and to one another through life.
So I like to tell people that I'm a dreamer, and that means many things to me. I have a lot of creative visions of realms of possibility. And to me, the dream state, when we're sleeping and we're having dreams, is just as potent and real as the waking state that we all agree upon exists.
Way down deep, there is sacred ground. Way down beneath your feet, there is wisdom to be found. It's not the voice of a woman or man, it's not the voice of fear. It's a rhythm rising in the land, and if you listen, you will hear.
Jung really helped us to open up what the symbology of dreams are and what the language of the dream state is, so that it could more clearly inform us and communicate about what's going on for us.